right, welcome again to Shelters by Jesus podcast. I am Pastor Richard Berry. I am the senior pastor of Shelters by Jesus, and we are so excited that you're watching in and listening in again. We've got so many of you been commenting and going on, checking out all the podcasts. We appreciate that. A lot of you have subscribed and you've hit like and so forth. So we've been able to get some money out of all of this, and we thank you for that support. And if you want to really do more to support, you can go to sheltersbyjesus.com, and it'll say for $9 a month you can get a family off the street and get them in the homeless shelter. And also there's 4 books out, Shelters by Jesus, written by me. They're in Hickanese, since I'm the Skowhegan Dumb Hick. But we'd love to have them in your hands, and if you like them, there's $10 or free, whichever one you want to afford. All the money goes to the shelter. I don't get any of it. Now, I wrote the books, but we donate everything to the shelter, so that's part of how we raise funds here. But we'd like to have in your hands a ministry tool, because it's going to share miracles, it's going to share battles and stuff we've been through that will help you in your own personal life as well. Also, we give tours if you'd like to meet some people, see our buildings and all of that, because everybody hears all kinds of rumors about us. Love to have you come in person and check it out for yourself. And our chief of staff is Seth Roberts. He's hiding behind the camera so you can't see him. So anyway, you give a call at 207-474-8833. You can set up a tour. And we are at 12 McClellan Street in Skowhegan. And if you want the books, you can tell me on there. Give me your name, give me your address, what books you want. If you want to come for the tour, give us a call and come to 12 McClellan Street. And so today, on this podcast, we got a first. It's something I want to do a series of a little bit off and on. We have former residents who are now out with their own place that have come off the street, spent time with us, moved on to their own place. And it is Kim and her daughters. You want to introduce your daughters?
Oh, that's Sophia and
Sophia.
that's Olivia.
Olivia. Sophia's going to hide, maybe pick her nose or something, but she's going to hide. Olivia will probably talk. Olivia's been on one of my podcasts. You've been on a podcast before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's not afraid of it. Sophia is unusual. She's a woman that don't talk. So you ain't going to catch many of those. But, so Kim.
Yes.
First of all, tell us what led to you being on the street to start with, to being homeless, not necessarily on the street.
Yeah, I wasn't on the street.
Right.
No.
So what led to your home condition of being homeless?
Well, I was in a place in Waterville for temporarily, and it had some bad things going on in the building, and I didn't want the kids around it, so I chose to come here because I knew a little bit about this place.
So how'd you know about us?
Prior resident.
A former resident?
Yeah, and Aria.
All right, who is a resident now and on the staff,
yeah,
one of our staff members.
Best friend, and I knew it was a safe place to be, and I wanted to be here. It was kind of a respite for me, just from being away from that, and I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, so being here was nice to be here.
Okay, can you describe what it was like as a mom being here with your daughters? What did it seem like? Was you afraid for your daughters? Was you safe? How did you feel about being here? Because I know there's parents out there going, man, I don't know, we're close to being homeless, but I've got children. If I had to go, would I feel comfortable taking my kids to a place like Shelters by Jesus? What would you tell them?
From the day that I was here, I felt comfortable and welcomed, and there's one thing about the place that you guys, like another homeless shelter, the staff would like always be around, or well, I mean, we have staff here,
right.
But I mean, this was a more relaxed setting. I felt like I could get my mind cleared, focus on things I needed to do. It was welcoming. Had a lot of good relationships with the residents. I worked in the kitchen, so it was nice to get to know people from the other building. It was just a relaxed setting. It was home. It felt like home to me. I had my privacy. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask Livy a question now. And Livy, you are how old?
10.
All right, because you're the one I mistook for the 14-year-old teenager, and you straightened me out a while ago because I said I'd like to get a teen's point of view, and you go, I'm not a teenager, Pastor. I'm only 10 years old. But you didn't look like a 10-year-old to me, but I'm an old man, so I haven't had 10-year-olds at home for a long time, so maybe you do look like a 10-year-old.
No, she don't.
She doesn't?
No.
Okay, so was it just an old man's
Almost
poor
tells
vision?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Libby, can you describe what it's like living here at the shelter? What did the things you liked about it or didn't like,
Playing
whatever?
with the kids.
You like playing with the kids?
Yeah.
All right. Was you ever afraid being here?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, what did you do? You say you played with the kids. What kind of stuff did you guys
We
do?
played outside, and we played inside, and we had a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun?
And then we played ball and stuff.
Okay. So you did some outdoor activities, some indoor activities. So was it like being in school or like being with a family?
Both.
Both. Okay. All right. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So did you like being here?
Mhm.
You did. How did you feel the day Mom says it's time for us to leave?
Sad.
Sad. You know what? I've heard that so much, and I know if you're watching this, you're going, why would a 10-year-old be sad leaving a homeless shelter? Could you explain why it made you sad? You got to speak up a little bit.
Because it felt like family. It felt like home.
Felt like you was leaving family and leaving home.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I got Seth, who's my chief of staff, behind the phone. The camera's on the phone, and I just want to say that's about as nice a statement as we can get, Seth. Right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And you weren't told what to say, right?
No.
No,
She don't
absolutely
listen
not. And the other thing is that this is totally off the cuff. Believe me, there's nothing written down. We don't know where we're going with any of this. So, all right, so we had pre-shelter. You wasn't comfortable where you were.
Mm-mm.
And so you came to shelter. The shelter life you kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the relationships with other women that I had lacked in my life for a while, and I built a lot of good relationships. I started to change too, being here.
Okay, what kind of changes did this bring about in your life?
Well, interchanges.
Okay, what?
Like, I started to like myself a little bit better, if that makes any sense, because when you live by yourself and you have kids, sometimes you don't get out and really know who you are. But
Okay.
then you start interacting with other women and start getting involved in things, and then you start to see how it changes you and see who you really are. And I'm a people person anyways, and to not have that for a while, to have it, I just kind of came out of my shell, if that's sort of a thing to say. But
No,
I just enjoy
it makes
people.
sense. So you kind of, when you're by yourself, you're kind of introverted because there's nothing,
Yeah.
there's no way to not be introverted because there's no way to be.
Mm-hmm.
But now here you got all these friends,
yeah,
and they have friends at the shelter, and that's hard for people who've never been here to understand.
I felt more like myself being around.
So you turned into it more. You went back
Yeah.
to being an extrovert more than in yourself,
Yeah.
and became more out.
Yep, and I loved being around people, and I feel like everybody has something to offer, and a lot of the women here, including the men, there's some men here too, that have a lot to offer, and I think all of us being in the same situation, we all looked out for each other, and we had that empathy that I was talking about before the thing, that
Right.
we all get it, we know what it's like to be here, and when I left this place a couple weeks ago, I left with friends that I hope continue to be my friends for a long time. And I have maintained some of those relationships outside the prior residents that have left, but still.
Yep.
I really care about them. I'm thankful that God did bring me here.
Now we have. You told me that in your home, Libby had a friend come that
Mhm.
was a former resident here.
They're best friends now.
No,
So
I know her before because, well, I think it was at the sprinkler over at Tia's house.
Oh, yeah. When she had it outside, the
Yeah.
summer when you guys had the sprinkler out.
So you met Brianna. Is it
Briella.
Yeah.
Briella?
And then again when we weren't here and I came here for church.
Okay.
Okay. So you and Briella became friends, and now you're best friends.
Mhm.
And so you both left the shelter, and she went with her dad and brother one way. You went with your mom and sister another way, but you
They've
hooked
come
up and
spend the
spent
night.
time together.
Mhm.
So, how's life different now that you're no longer in a shelter, but you're in your own place? How do you find life different now?
Well, we don't have here at the shelter, you get up in the morning with praise and prayer. I miss praise and prayer. And the Bible teachings at night. I think that when people come here, the shelter might not have had like a lot of scheduling in their life.
Right.
And there is some sort of structure here when you come, and it makes you healthier. Like, you get into the habit of getting up in the morning, coming to praise and prayer, and you just have structure throughout the day. And a lot of people lack that, but when they leave here, it's ingrained almost. So when you get home, when there isn't a lot, you miss it.
Really?
Because it's, yeah.
Now, that's something I didn't even think about. I wouldn't even thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have.
Healthy. It's a healthy thing.
I love that
Yeah.
because one of the things is people come, they go, man, you got rules here. You got all these things. You have to go to prayer meeting. You have to go to Bible study. But you don't see that as a burden or a problem. You saw it as a plus, right?
Mm-hmm. You hear God's word every day, and that was a good thing. A lot of people get out of the habit. Like, I've gotten out of that habit, not doing it every day like I should.
Yeah.
But no, in the morning, being around people in the morning, having, the time to talk and laugh and pray or just be together in the morning. I hope when people leave here, that stays in their heart, that they'll want that healthy, get up in the morning, spend time with God, or want to be around other people, not just go back to just being a hermit, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
That they will want in their life to be fulfilled with other people, to be part of a community and not
build
just,
some relationships and not
Yeah.
crawl into a corner.
Yeah, because that does keep people healthy. When you start to withdraw,
Yeah.
it's not.
Now, I don't know how to ask this question, but I was thinking about, so this is the first time we've had someone that's been here before. People talk about those kind of people because you're homeless.
Mhm.
All right. Now they look at you different. They'll look at you differently because you have a home. Do you feel you're any different from the time you were in the shelter until you're in a home? Do you see yourself as different?
Nope. Matter of fact, I felt, this is going to sound cheesy, but I felt sad leaving people behind because I wanted that for them. I never would ever think that I was better than, because, no.
So you know, all right, now that you've got a home, you're not looking back and going, those kind of people,
No,
right?
I never thought that way before coming here.
All right. So what would you say to somebody that goes, well, when you were homeless, I might not want to go to church with you, but now you got a home, you're like the rest of us, so it'd be okay if you come to church with me. Seriously, what would you have to say about that? I mean, that is a truism out there.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Say that again.
That people in churches,
Mm-hmm.
because you live at home, when you're at the homeless shelter, they would say, and we know some pastors have said that, I don't want homeless in my church. All right, so, but you've changed your status,
Mm-hmm.
so now you're a different person.
I probably wouldn't
Right?
go to that church.
Yeah.
I'd be finding myself a better church. Just saying.
That's a fair statement,
Yep.
all right? But, so you don't see yourself different now that you have a home. You don't look in the mirror and go, oh, I'm a person with a home now. I'm no longer a homeless person.
Nope. You know why? There's another reason why too, is that right now my house is empty. I have stuff in storage, but I don't have a couch. I don't have furniture. I have beds for my kids and dressers.
You're in transition.
I have some things,
Yeah.
but I really just have a house. I'm not any different. I'm just I have a house.
You're just in a different location.
Yeah.
So the only difference between a home person and a non-home person is location. I like
But
that.
people here really aren't homeless.
There, look at that camera and tell them that.
People that are here are not homeless.
Thank
They
you.
have a home.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. Now, this is coming from a former resident, and Seth and I didn't get a hold of you and say, we want you to speak up nice about our shelter and all that stuff, right? We didn't
No.
quiz
still
you ahead of time.
I knew about the shelter before I came here, and I liked what you guys did. I mean, I had been coming here a couple times to church, and I knew the person that lived here, and I always thought this was a nice place. That's why I wanted to come and felt comfortable being here.
So did the shelter live up to your expectations of what you was hoping it would be when you came?
I didn't have any expectations, really, but I didn't have any expectations, but I was totally happy being here, and I'm always grateful.
Okay. So,
I would say this is one of the best shelters. 25 years ago, I had been in another shelter, and it was nice, but you always had to leave. It was never that home. I would absolutely say that this is a great shelter.
well, that's another thing. You know, people are watching this and they say, well, there are other homeless shelters and stuff out there, but you have, if you had your $2 with you at the time, and say it was that weekend we had 40 below wind chill, and you had to take Sophie and Liv and head out on the street, how would you feel about that? What would your emotions be about that?
I'd be afraid.
Okay, that's an honest
I would
emotion.
be afraid for them. I wouldn't want that for them.
So
Or anyone, for that matter.
So that's what's separating Shelters by Jesus.
You take them in wherever
From
you can
anyone.
put them to keep them safe. That's the focus. Keep them safe, not all the red tape and all the other rules or regulations or whatever. It's about keeping people alive.
Well, we're pretty excited that we have it the way we have it. And we're awful happy that you have your own home now.
Yeah, me too.
You know, we love being a bridge to take people from where they were to where they're going to be. And it's awful good that you and your daughters have this place now. And you're out in the country.
Yep.
You're country bumpkins.
Yep.
And Livy, do you like being a country bumpkin? No.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to say. You guys have expectations of people, because I don't want people to think you don't have expectations, because expectations are healthy. But you guys were never like in your face. You gave people room to be themselves and to do what they needed to do, and were encouraging. It wasn't like, you got to do this, you got to do this, and do this. It was never like that. You gave people room to breathe, to figure out what they needed to do, and then you just kind of encourage. And if people don't, you encourage them along. You tell them, hey, you're not doing the right thing. But it was never in a mean way. It was never like in your face. You gave people space to figure
Well,
things out. And,
I think the term is loving your neighbor.
yeah. Mhm.
I think that's the term.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you feel that way. And we were awful happy to be able to give you a place to stay.
Yeah.
And
Thank
we were,
you.
we were excited when we got word you were going to be, we started praying for you, we got word you'd be moving on and having your own place. Now, Livy here, she's not excited about being a country bumpkin, but how does Mama feel about being a country bumpkin?
I love it.
Ah,
But before, like a year and a half ago, I was living out in Norwich Walk and had a beautiful yard and nice place, and I was really sad that I left it. I chose to leave it, and I wish I hadn't. And God knew my heart. He knows I love the country, and He found me the perfect place. So,
all right. So have you got a yard?
there's like 5 acres out back.
Oh, you got a
Like,
big
yeah, I got
yard.
a big yard.
5 acres.
Yeah.
That's a yard.
Yeah.
Livy gonna mow it this summer? No. Well, I want to say thanks, guys, for coming and coming back and sharing now that you have your own place.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys always have a place in the heart here. You know that.
Thanks.
And
I know that.
I know you got friends here. Then
Mhm.
and a lot of my staff, some of my staff may be here forever, and I know they love you guys, and
Yeah.
so they'll always be here and your friends. And I want you to understand, if you folks are watching this, when you give $9, you look at it and go, that's not much. Well, it meant this lady and her kids were able to make sure they didn't go on the street. And she said she didn't come off the street, but she was in a situation where she needed to move out of and not go to the street to do that. But you made it possible by giving, because we don't get tax money, we don't get grants. Everything is done here is 100% faith-based. It is a Shelters by Jesus. Actually, it's Shelters by Jesus's people. It's probably we should have people in parentheses, because He moves your heart to give. You give, and these folks have a good, safe place. And you hear him say, you got Olivia here who's 10 years old that misses the Fred. She loved it here. Christ has created a great atmosphere, a good family atmosphere, and we can keep it up as long as you and others continue to support us. So please consider supporting us if you can with the $9, but also our YouTube page. Both my Saturday night messages are on there, and our podcasts are on there on Shelters by Jesus YouTube page, Shelters by Jesus Radio. Go on there. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And then hit like. And if you go, well, I'm not sure I like Pastor Barry, well, like the shelter and hit like anyway, because that's going to help us financially down the road. And the other thing you can do is share this with your friends on Facebook. Hit share. List them, tag them, tell them, watch this. And ask them to subscribe and hit like or maybe support. So thank you for watching it. We're so excited you were with us today. We're so excited you guys were with us today. Thank you, Kim and Livy and Sophie, for coming and spending this time back with us again. God bless you. God bless you all for watching. Stay tuned for some more. We're coming your way. Y'all come back now here.